for targeting and torturing 2 black men. This is ABC News.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-617-0239. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-617-0239. That's 800-617-0239. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Wednesday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show. Hope everybody's having a great day. Happy hump day. Darren and Justin live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. DJ Damon is alongside. Chris Sanders, hope you're listening to that. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. That's how you can get in touch with us. You can also watch the show every day on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Nick McDevitt, MTSU men's basketball coach. We had Brian Penny Collins on yesterday. We'll have Nick McDevitt on today in about 15 minutes. We'll talk about his MTSU team and some of the common opponents, some teams like we talked about with Penny yesterday, teams that he saw this year that can maybe help us with our brackets. Need a little inside info. And then at 3 o'clock, Steve Lehman from News Channel 5. We'll get into all things with him as the transfer portals are opening up. And unfortunately, this is the way it is in college athletics now. Kids are defecting. So we'll get into all that. And the Titans with Steve Lehman coming up at 3 o'clock. Last night, the games in Dayton, 2 games in Dayton. The first one had Wagner defeating Howard 71-68. Wagner was up big. Howard came storming back. Cut it to 1, and we're unable to get any closer as Wagner gets the win, and their prize is North Carolina. Congratulations.
Wagner going to play last night with 7 active players. That's it.
Yeah.
7 players.
And they got it done.
And won the game.
How about that?
Howard just couldn't hit a bucket, especially in the first half from 3. And that really cost him the game ultimately down the stretch. They blew a couple of golden opportunities, but, just couldn't. They got a couple of open looks at the end, too. Just could not knock down that 3 ball at the end of the game.
And then in the nightcap, it was kind of a throwback of like 1964. Colorado State beat Virginia 67-42. Virginia's offense looks like something out of the movie Hoosiers. How many times are we going to pass before we shoot? 4. How many? 4.
Are you saying Virginia's offense looked very equivalent to Iowa's football offense?
Yeah. Yeah, they are the equivalent of Iowa football. Sorry, Jason, if you're listening, who's our resident Iowa fan.
Well, sorry, but
he's a big Iowa fan, and
they are offensively challenged.
They
at times.
You're being very nice. And Virginia, too, is offensively challenged.
14 points at halftime.
14 at half.
Halftime.
We've seen SEC games first timeout have more than 14 points.
14 points at halftime?
In the first timeout. TV timeout.
Jeez.
That's 4 minutes in.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
Well,
14 points at halftime.
Let me tell you what, Tony.
Steph Curry accidentally scores 14 in the first quarter.
Yeah. This is what Tony Bennett has done. So we all remember that Virginia is the only team to be a 1 seed and lose to a 16. Okay.
Yes.
They did that in 2019. Okay. They lost as the only 1 seed to ever lose in 2019. They came roaring back. I'm sorry, 2018. I said 2019. 2018.
Okay.
Man, I was off to such a good start. And then 2 turnovers in a row.
Yeah, well.
2018. Then in 2019, they redeemed themselves and they win the Natty. In 2020, we know there was no tournament. 2021, they lost to Ohio, a 13 seed, first round.
Disrespect the Bobcats now. Come on now.
No, I'm not disrespecting the Bobcats. I'm just saying they lost in the first round.
Okay.
In 2021. 2022, missed the tournament. 2023, last year, lost to another 13 seed, first round. This year, lose in Dayton. To Colorado State. I'm just saying, Tony Bennett's a really good coach. But since 2018, they lost as a 1 seed in the first round to a 16 seed. That's never happened and still hasn't happened other than them. They win a Natty, and then they've lost to a 13 seed in the first round, missed the tournament, lost to a 13 seed in the first round, and lost to Colorado State in Dayton,
and scored
a 10 seed.
14 points in the first half.
And scored 42 points in losing by 25.
Jeez.
I'm just saying.
It's a little inconsistent there. But I guess the Natty makes up for a lot of it because, there's a lot of teams who've played much better than that, and they don't have a Natty. So, there's that, too. So, it just is what it is. Players leave, players, go in and out. I mean, who knows what the reason for their offensive woes are. I just know that 14 points was never going to get it done for anybody. I don't care what level of play you're on. 14 points in the first half is probably going to result in an L.
Somebody that's hotter than Virginia basketball and Iowa football on offense.
The Nashville Predators?
It's the Predators.
Predators scored almost that much.
Segway! Yeah.
If you're real quiet, you can probably hear the horn going off at Bridgestone Arena again.
Yeah.
It got a lot of run last night. A lot of run.
They have tied their franchise record for their points game streak, which is 15 now. They've won 13, by the way, of those 15 games. 13 of 15. Ever since they got housed by Dallas, man, it is definitely changed.
So
this team is completely different. And, of course, they beat up. And we talked about it yesterday with Alex Doherty. And, look, it doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares. I'm just saying they beat up and they just ended up just curb stomping a very, very bad Sharks team. But that's what when you're on fire and they stink, you should curb stomp them.
The Preds have 84 points on the season. The Sharks have 39 points on the season. I looked it up this morning. It's the only reason I know. Because I wanted to make sure I was factual on television when I said the Sharks, because I started off by saying the Sharks are one of the worst teams in hockey. Then I was able to correct myself by saying, no, the Sharks are actually the worst team in hockey. They have 39 points on the season. But I wanted to pose this question to you, Darren, because this is just me again. The sports in me watching, the sports fan in me watching. The Predators win last night, 8-2. We know the Sharks are bad. We know all those equations, but could it be that the Predators are actually not just playing well, but are good? And the reason why I say that is this: yes, they're expected to beat the Sharks. We all knew that. But they weren't expecting to beat them 8-2. This is normally something that you would hear the Boston Bruins doing, who have been really good, or at least in the regular season, over the last couple of years here. Winning games that you're expected to win is a great thing. But blowing out teams like this is something a little bit different, don't you think? I mean, it's one thing to win. You beat a team you're supposed to beat, but then you go out here and curb stomp them. Is a level above impressive.
Well, I brought it up to Alex yesterday. Is they're not just winning; they're winning convincingly. Like they're not dominating winning games in overtime and shootouts or last second goals,
barely getting by.
Which, by the way, doesn't matter. Like 2 points is 2 points. So I'm just saying they're not doing that. They are blowing out. Everybody, not to 8-2.
No,
but 4-1, 6-2. 5-0, 5-1. Those are blowouts in the NHL.
But 8-2 gives me confidence that, maybe they can hang in with a big time team in a playoff game if they are doing big time things when they play similar competition. I'm just saying the numbers look comparable after a while. When you look at them, 8-2, that is a score that one of the upper echelon teams would put up against the Sharks.
Look, Eric,
not a 500 team.
Eric in Columbia on our YouTube page says, I think they can take down a juggernaut like what Winnipeg, Dallas, or Colorado, or even Edmonton. Look, here's the deal. Are they playing great hockey right now?
They are.
Are they going to the playoffs? They are.
Certainly.
They got 13 games left. They're going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
This team is going to get in. Okay? But the question is, and they're probably going to, look, this whole time, I've been saying looks like they're gonna go on and sweep this road trip. Then they came home and it's like they're probably gonna keep this going and win all 5 at home. Like I've been saying this the whole time. They're probably gonna stay red hot. Then you stop and you start a new season.
Yeah.
So the question is, they're going to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. My guess is they're going to remain red hot to the finish line of the regular season, which is 13 more games.
Doesn't mean they're going to win all 13. He just means they're going to play well.
I'm saying they're going to stay red. Right, they're going to stay red hot. Then the season stops.
Yes,
it's over. You start season 2.
Yeah,
and playoff hockey is different
than
regular season hockey. It turns up several notches. So we'll see. Ultimately, we've been talking about this since we've been doing the show, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some people, like, I have this, back and forth with this guy on Twitter that he's just like, I just love to win and I'm all about wins. Dude, there ain't nothing wrong with it. That's great. You're in the honeymoon phase as a Predators fan. I'm the old married couple.
Yeah.
I've been there for 25 years, bro.
Yeah.
Like, me and you are at different stages.
Yeah.
That's fine. But quit trying to preach to me the way I'm supposed to feel about it. You're in the honeymoon. You're on early dating period. And if you want to be excited about whatever they do, then go ahead. I've been there. I've done it. I'm not in that phase. I'm way past that phase.
Yeah.
Okay? Now I'm lucky to get my wife something for Valentine's Day. I only do it to stay out of trouble. But we've done 20 Valentine's Days.
Yeah.
Okay, 20 years worth of it.
You're at a different phase when you get her something nice and she's asking, how much did this cost?
But let me tell you something, Justin. The first year we were dating, do you think the Valentine's was ramped up?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was ramped up big.
Probably doing a little bit more.
Yeah. I was doing a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Look, and and I've just kind of really stopped trying to go back and forth because he doesn't get it. I'm like, dude, you don't get it.
Well,
you can be happy. I'm not telling you not to be happy. The point I'm trying to make is I'm judging them now by how what is it going to look like in April?
Yeah.
Because you know what? This is year 25. As you've said it many times, don't take the words right out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Playoff hockey is not nothing new here.
Oh, no. This will be year 16 out of 25.
They've been doing it actually more than they haven't.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
More times than not, yeah. They make the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs. We're very fortunate here. And I'm not poo-pooing that. That's great.
No.
But this whole get in and get out quick is what we've seen the last 5-6 years. Okay. So ultimately, I'm saying this is awesome. It's fun. They're going to get to the playoffs. Will it continue? Well, we all hope so. But it's a different animal. I have no idea, just like none of you had any idea, as we joked about with Alex yesterday, that all this was going to happen. Nobody could see it coming.
No.
And none of us know how this is going to play out in the playoffs. I hope there's a magical run coming.
That'd be great.
But I have no clue if that's going to happen. They could also be one and done. Or they could stay red hot and carry this sucker right in the playoffs and get on a heater.
Could happen.
It could happen
very easily.
But this this winning streak is going to take them to the promised land. Well,
where's the promised land for you?
Good.
Every fan's got a different promised land,
fine.
and that's what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's fine. Everybody can have different feelings.
Yeah.
But don't tell me how I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I've been around the block, and apparently you haven't. You just started dating the Preds, and that's cool. I'm excited that you're excited.
Or maybe not, Darren. Maybe he's been here just as long and is just excited.
He never pushes back when I throw that in his face. So if you were, you would tell me, I would think.
Some people don't mind going to the same restaurant over and over again and eating the same meal. I'm just saying. I'm not going to call out a restaurant's name because I don't want to insult anybody. I'm just saying, if you've got somebody and maybe they like going to the same restaurant over and over again, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't get any better, it doesn't matter, you don't step it up, it doesn't matter, they will take the same thing every single time and they're happy with it.
It's called being comfortable.
Some fans are happy.
Some people are
They're just happy to be relevant. This is called relevancy to them. They're in the playoffs. This is relevancy.
Yeah.
So, they're saying, well, what's wrong with that? The team is winning. They've won more than they've lost. I'm glad the team is here. I remember when the team almost left. If you want to, if it depends on where your ceiling or your floor is. If you're looking at that as your floor, as the team almost moved to Hamilton, then this looks pretty good.
Yeah. It does look like they have definitely turned a corner. They are playing with huge amounts of confidence again. We'll see. I would be willing to bet on the show it's going to continue for the rest of the regular season. It just is. I'm not saying they're going to win the last 13. I'm saying they're going to stay on a heater. The question is, then, what is the carryover? We'll find out. We'll all find out together. Yeah. None of us know.
Depends on the matchup, too.
Yeah, depends on the matchup. Mm-hmm. Matchups are important when you get in the playoffs. This just in. As we will find out in the NCAA tournament, matchups are vitally important. Mm-hmm. By the way, if you have the right matchup, you can get all the way to the Final Four. If you have a lousy matchup in round 2, you're not going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
More than likely.
I feel like I need to take up an offering right now. Offering trades passed around.
We preaching? Is that what you're saying?
Preaching pretty good.
I'm preaching.
Pretty good. Right. I just want to give you a compliment on preaching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. He's saying
can I get an amen?
Church.
He said offering trade. He's saying we're preaching. Okay.
Well, can I get an amen?
Amen. I give amen.
Let's for an amen.
We're going to do it. Let's take it all the way.
Let's go.
All right, let's head down to Murfreesboro when we come back. Amen. MTSU basketball coach Nick McDevitt will join us next here on the McFarland Show, WNSR.
A few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Bob's Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple: incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cuts, from the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu, from salmon to scampi, and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Childress Collision Center is proudly saluting all of our first responders for their service. This message is brought to you by family-owned and operated Childress Collision Center. From a scratch or a dent to a full collision repair and expert paint matching, trust Childress Collision Center. Stop on by 1108 8th Avenue South in Nashville or call 615-266-4441. 615-266-4441. That's Childress Collision Center. They're people who care.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Tony Pollard is younger. He's 3.5 years younger than Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You're getting him in his prime, and as Adam just stated, you're not asking him to be a bell cow. You've got Spears and Pollard.
Yep.
That's where the league is today.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
Rolling along on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day. 615-844-5600 is our phone line and our text line. We are the McFarlands, Darren and Justin, live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio, which, by the way, they have a location down in Murfreesboro.
They do.
And it's a fantastic location, and I know they are doing quite well down there. And you can listen to the show down in Murfreesboro on 107.9. DJ Damon is alongside as well. Speaking of Murfreesboro, let's head down to the borough. He just completed his 6th season as the Blue Raiders men's basketball coach. He is Nick McDevitt. He now joins us. Coach, how we doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for doing this as always. By the way, can you believe it's already been 6 years?
Man, there's some days that it feels like just yesterday, last month that we moved over here to Murfreesboro, and other days it does feel like 6 years. At times it feels longer. But yeah, it's certainly been a wild ride, a fun ride. We're enjoying it here. Murfreesboro's a great town, great city, and yeah, you're right. At times, obviously you can do things that makes time fly.
We had Brian Penny Collins on yesterday, coach at TSU, and his season didn't go the way that he wanted it to, because obviously you guys ultimately want to be in the NCAA tournament just like them, and it didn't go your way either. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked him. How would you assess this season? How would you take that?
Well, it was hard. It was a hard year. They're all hard for different reasons, but there was so much anticipation coming into this season. We'd won 45 games over the previous 2 seasons, had won the Conference USA East Division, had won 2 different MTEs, and you're picked amongst your colleagues. It got you picked towards the top, if not a first-place caliber team heading into the season. And then for us, we went on a foreign tour to Italy, and our guys, we've had several returning players this year, so they could see that we were playing well in the summer. We had 2 scrimmages, won both of those, won quite handily, and then all of a sudden your starting point guard goes down in the second game of the year, and then a couple of weeks later, another rotation player, Josh Agunale, is backup center, transferred from Iowa. He's 6'11", 300 pounds. He goes down for the season. And it was really disruptive. I think anybody that whether it's football or basketball, you lose your quarterback, you lose your point guard, and it's going to be awfully disruptive. And because of that, and because of the success we had over the previous 2 years, and how we were playing up until that point, and then all of a sudden we're really struggling. I mean, we're struggling to score points. We're struggling to find any kind of rhythm. Our substitution patterns have changed. We had to change our offense, and quite honestly, there for a while we weren't very good. And that was the hard part, is that the games kept coming against really good competition, but soon you could start to see that there were starting to be some improvements. There were some practice things were happening, game things that were happening that showed a little light at the end of the tunnel, and still not getting the results you want, still not getting the wins. That's the part that made it really hard. But I was really proud of our team and how they continued to battle and work ourselves through that, to where by the end of the season, we'd turned ourselves into a pretty good team. Not where we wanted to be, but we finished. We won our last 6 games at home, got to the semifinals of our tournament for the 3rd straight year. Obviously, we want more than that. That's our standard here is more than making the semifinals and winning 6 games in a row at home. But from where we were 2 months earlier, and for what this team went through, I was proud of their resiliency and how they faced that adversity. But obviously, next year we want to do better. We got to have a little luck, stay healthy, add the right pieces in the off season to our returning players, and hopefully get back on track to having a championship level team.
You talked about the way you played at home, Coach, late in the season. You had success. One of those home wins was against your big rival up in Bowling Green, Kentucky. You beat Western at home. You ended up facing them 3 times. Unfortunately, that's who put you out of the conference tournament, but you got a chance to see them 3 times. They're going to be playing during our show on Friday in Indianapolis. They'll be taking on Marquette. Look, we're all looking for advantages for filling out our brackets. So what can you tell us about the Hilltoppers? What do you think? You saw them 3 times.
They're a talented group. I think the thing that really separates them is how fast they play. On the offensive side of the ball, they're the fastest playing team in the country, and that's just not they inch their way there. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down to 5th. We played them. As you mentioned, 3 different times, and all 3 times that we played them, statistically, analytically, I should say, they're the fastest playing team in the country. They won to score in the first 5 to 8 seconds of the shot clock, so they really, really get up and down the floor. They're the highest scoring team in our league. They've got 2 terrific guards in Don McHenry and Christian Lander that are multi-level scorers. They can get downhill to the rim. They can shoot threes, and they've got legitimate size at all their positions. They've got a transfer in Brandon Newman. He came from Purdue as a 6'5" wing. They've got Dante Allen, who's a transfer from Kentucky, who's a 6'6" shooter. Then they've got Rodney Howard, who is a load of a human being inside. He's 6'11", 255, transferred from Georgia Tech, and they bring him off the bench and plays about 20, 25 minutes a game. And they're just good. They're deep. They're athletic. They will not be a pushover. When they can get hot too, because of the pace of play, when they can go on quick scoring runs when they really heat up, because they're going to have multiple possessions in a short amount of time. And so because of that, they're their 9-0 runs or their 11-2 runs don't happen over a 4 or 5 minute period. They can go on a run on you in a hurry.
I know Marquette is one of their key players has been injured, and I haven't seen if he's going to play or not. He probably will, because I feel like if
Tyler Kolek is going to play.
That's who it is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about the Big East Player of the Year.
Yep.
They're going to certainly need him, and I'm sure Coach Smart was banking on, we're going to have to rest him here in the Big East tournament and kind of take our lumps. They managed to find a way to get to the finals against UConn even without him. And so I think he's going to be healthy and geared up for this NCAA run.
Nick McDevitt on the line with us, MTSU men's basketball coach. You also saw St. Mary's. They're in the tourney as a 5 seed. I know that was back in the middle of December, but what did you see from St. Mary's?
Man, they wore us out. They played us at a time, and we played them at a time where, we were in the middle of our struggles, and you could see they're starting to play really well. We were one of the first games of they had won like 15 or 16 games in a row as of, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that kind of started around that same time period. They're just big. Josh Jefferson was a 6'8" forward for them that started, and he had a season-ending knee injury about 6 or 8 weeks ago that a lot thought would really derail their season because they were playing extremely well, and in large part because of him. And they kind of haven't really missed a beat. They're a very, very good passing team from top to bottom. They just don't turn the ball over. Their bigs are really big. Saxon is a really big human being, and they come in with an even bigger center. And their guards can really move the ball around. They're such a well-oiled machine on the offensive side of the ball. That's the second time, I guess, in the past 6 or 7 years. We played them once when I was at Asheville, and played them once again, obviously, this year here at Middle Tennessee. And each time we've played them, they just, as a team, know how to play on the offensive end.
Coach, we talked about your play at home, which has been very, very good, but I can't let you go without talking about the play on the road. 1 in 10 this year on the road. What has happened on the road for this team this past year?
Well, I think for one of the things is like everybody was good at home. It wasn't just so much.
I noticed that. Yes, sir. Yeah.
We were one of the teams that we struggled on the road. And if you're going to be a championship level team, we tell our players all this every year, no matter which team it is. And your returning players, I'm sure, get tired of hearing it, but it's true. If you're going to win your league, you got to win all your home games, and you got to find a way to go win some on the road. You don't have to win them all on the road, because when you play in good leagues, winning any game on the road is hard, and this is a good league. But the teams, the discrepancy in this league from home and away winning percentages was one of the biggest in the country. And, it's just one of those things where when you're on the road, you have to take everything to another level. You're playing a team that is in their comfort zone. It's where they practice, where those guys get up their shots. They're in front of their fans, so all that's going to be at their advantage. They're sleeping in their beds. You're sleeping in a hotel. They're eating food that they're used to eating. You're not. And so you really have to raise your level. And for us this year, there were times where we're just trying to find our way. Our guys are trying to remember the plays that we just put in. And I'm not saying that to make an excuse for them or to let anybody, them off the hook, us off the hook. You got to go find a way to win on the road, or else you're going to find yourself struggling to be towards the top of your league. And, it's hard when, you're in good leagues to go find ways to win on the road.
The league has changed quite a bit. We were talking with Coach Collins yesterday about the OVC change, but the Conference USA change is real. I mean, you guys, over the course of the last season here, you lost FAU, you lost North Texas, you lost UAB, you lost Charlotte, you lost UTSA, but you gained Sam Houston, you gained Liberty, you gained Jack State, and you gained New Mexico State. This is an overhaul in your particular conference. I know you had divisions a couple of years ago with even more teams, and it's come down. What do you think of your new neighborhood? Because that's exactly what we're talking about here when you're talking about conference, a new neighborhood that you're playing in.
No doubt. We lost some really good teams. 6 went from Conference USA to the American, and then we added 4 for this season. And although the name recognition for your fans isn't the same as what it was, still the quality of the basketball team is very good, very high. I mean, you think about Sam Houston. They won our regular season this year. And I'm sure a lot of our fans here in Middle Tennessee haven't heard a whole lot about Sam Houston. But over the last 9 years, they had won an average of 21 games a season and had been in the WAC. Before North Texas came in, I think you would say the same thing, that who is North Texas? And then all of a sudden you see them year after year after year and realize these guys are really good. And then they move, they're on to the American now. I think that's the same with, you think about Jacksonville State. Ray Harper used to be the coach at Western Kentucky, so there's familiarity with our league from his standpoint. Liberty, led by Richie McKay, they've been winning championships in the ASUN, also did in the Big South, so a very good club there. Next year, we will add Kennesaw State out of the Atlantic Sun. That will make a 10th member of Conference USA. And then the following year, we will add Delaware out of the CAA, what used to be the Colonial, now the Coastal, but the CAA nonetheless. And then supposedly an additional team. There's talks that there will eventually be a 12th member. Don't know who that is, but we will be at 10 this coming season with the addition of Kennesaw State, and for sure at least 11 the following year with the addition of Delaware, and potentially a 12-team league with the addition of some other. But yeah, lots of new faces, but still good universities and good athletic programs.
Well, Coach, I think I just found your road problem. I mean, Delaware, and the University of Texas El Paso. I mean, I studied, geography a little bit. They're not close. No, they're not side by side, Coach. No, Murfreesboro is not exactly close to either one of those schools.
That is too. I think part of the challenge when you asked a question a minute ago about winning road games, and we are really spread out, and that is another challenge. It's not a 2 or 3 hour bus ride. What used to be a 3 hour bus ride to get to UAB, or a quick trip into to play Rice down in Houston. You've got teams from really Las Cruces, New Mexico is in the same league with a team in Delaware. And so you're really, Conference USA is an appropriate name for our league.
USA being
USA, yeah, the entire thing.
The operative word there.
Every single time zone. They got all the time zones covered, I think, with that. Coach, last but not least for me, I just wanted to ask you about being the underdog. We are all looking at, the double C teams, the 11, the 12, the 13s, and you are familiar with, playing in that position, going up against what some people would call the blue bloods, or teams with a lot more resources than maybe your teams have. How do you prepare a team for that? How do you prepare a team to go in and play, a Kansas, a North Carolina, some people they've only seen on television sometimes, and maybe, the lights get a little brighter. What do you do to get a team set for a unique challenge like that?
I think the biggest thing is that at this time of the year and in that tournament is realizing that you're there for a reason. You have to earn your way in it. You weren't given an invitation. The teams that are playing well because they've had a great season because they got an at-large bid, or you're playing really well at the moment nonetheless because you've won your tournament. So people are coming in there for at least the automatics on 3, 4, 5 plus game winning streaks, and have beaten some good teams. So it's about confidence. Belief, but it's also about matchups. That is a big piece of it. And there are times where even the underdog, you may be the double-digit seed, but the matchup may be in your favor because of one side of the ball or the other. They're going to have a hard time guarding our smaller lineup. If we can rebound with them, they're going to have a hard time guarding us on the other end of the floor because of the way we can spread it and shoot it, and we're going to make their bigs have to chase us. So there have been times where a lack of size or just a particular matchup can go in your favor. So think it's a combination of being healthy, being confident, and what does the matchup look like.
Okay, real quick on the way out. Speaking of that, again, and I hate to ask because it was such a different. I know your seasons are long, and this is going all the way back to November. But you even brought them up. UAB used to be a very familiar opponent, but you lost a tough one earlier in the year to them. Andy Kennedy is no stranger. College basketball. He's been around the block a time or two, and he's got the Blazers in the NCAA tournament as a 12 seed. In fact, their first game is against a team that was in the national championship game last year. What did you see? Like I said, albeit back in November, what did you see out of UAB?
They're physically gifted. You know, they are they're big in the post. Landenborg, Yoxa Landenborg's a 6'8" post player that can really do it all. Started shooting the ball better for them later in the season. But it seemed like he was getting a double-double every night later in the year. Xavion Davis is a 6'11", 250, 260-pound post player. So when you think about the size that you need to be able to defend and rebound around the basket in the tournament, they've certainly got that. And then their guard play are guys that can, really heat up and score the ball. They've got a really good shooter in Ephraim Butta Johnson. He's about 6'4", and then their guard play with Eric Gaines is a 6'3", high level, elite level athlete transferred there from LSU. So they've got athletic guards, one that can really shoot it. They've got a couple of other kind of wing driving players, so they can go score the ball in that manner. One of the things that has been a challenge for them this year is consistency beyond the arc, making teams have to get out and guard them on the perimeter. But if they start making those three-point shots outside of just Butta Johnson making them, then they can really spread you out, and that's where their athleticism and size really shows. If they hit those cold streaks, you try to just pack it in, but they're still good. That was our strategy. Like, we're going to have to make them make shots. And what they do is they just drive it and get it up on the rim and try to go play volleyball up on the rim until they make it. Chris Coleman's another 6'7" athlete that they sub in that can play up around the rim. That they're a challenge at the basket because of their physicality. They can play up around the rim, and they've just got bodies on bodies that just keep coming at you. Andy always does a good team. He likes those kind of teams and those kind of players, and so they'll be a tough out. And because of that size, when they go to their 1-3-1 zone, and there's a lot of length out there, so they can dictate the pace of the game, particularly when they're making shots. When they score, they like to get that in that little zone, and they can give teams trouble.
Well, we shall see. Coach, really appreciate it. Always good to catch up with you. Thanks for your time today. Enjoy the tournament.
Thank you, sir.
We'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Nick McDevitt, MTSU men's basketball coach. We do appreciate him joining us. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. We can talk with you. We're wide open the rest of the hour. You're listening to the McFarland Show, WNSR.
When was the last time you did something fun with family, friends, coworkers, and clients? What if I told you about a place under one roof that offers affordable entertainment for all ages? That's what you'll find at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers in Donaldson, Hermitage, Tusculum, Hendersonville, and Murfreesboro, with bowling, games, food, drink, and entertainment for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro, where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. All locations are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Visit online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Attention business owners. WNSR has some exciting opportunities for your business to thrive in the dynamic world of sports radio advertising. As the proud home of some of your favorite sports teams like the Atlanta Braves, Memphis Grizzlies, and more, we understand the power of sports in bringing people together and creating a passionate community. We believe that your business can become an integral part of this experience, reaching a diverse and engaged audience. Contact the WNSR sales team for an opportunity to discuss how Nashville's sports radio can elevate your brand to new heights. Whether you're interested in a specific sponsorship package or would like a customized solution, we are here to meet your advertising needs. Call 615-844-1039. 615-844-1039 or email saleswnsr@gmail.com. That's saleswnsr@gmail.com.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
It's JB and the Generals.
Really, I'd say if a move isn't made within the next 48 hours after the season's conclusion, maybe that's your answer.
Yeah, I agree. If this is not immediate, because it shouldn't have to be anything Candace has to think about. You know, she should be all in one way or the other. He's coming back or he's gone. Like, that decision should already be made. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today's going to feature sunshine and temperatures around 70. It'll be partly cloudy tonight, low 38. Thursday, time to clouds and sun, high 66. Clouds and scattered showers Friday, high 62. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi. Sports Radio, WNSR.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
615-844-5600. Darren and Justin live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Kevin on our text line. I've been a Preds fan since day one. Kevin down in Florida.
Yes.
Lived in Clarksville when the expansion team was announced and thought, wow, an NHL team in Nashville. If they don't go deep in the playoffs this year, I'm sure Bruno, that would be Andrew Burnett, is going to get them deeper in the next few years. Kevin in Florida. Okay. Look, I can understand.
We got callers, or else I would jump in on. I mean, it's just
I understand being optimistic because guess what? There's a new coach and there's a new GM.
Sure.
And the new GM is for the first time ever. Second ever franchise GM. So yeah, I get it. And Barry's done a great job.
He has.
Let's go to Tony in Nolensville, who always does a great job. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys. Great
Tony.
show, as always.
Thank you.
You know, Darren, you played a lot of ball. Justin, you have too. And listening to Coach Frank from Middle right there, you know, the old philosophy, it's been around forever. You win your home games, and I think you go 500 on the road, you're going to be in the thick of a lot of championships. And I think that's what is happening with a lot of teams. And Darren, I heard you answer to him. I noticed this year, and we talked about it early in the year, how so many home teams were winning their home games, but would go on the road and lose a lot. It's really unbelievable. And I just think those teams that have that mentality, that can go on the road, be a team, and be for playing for each other, I just think you have just a lot more success rate.
I just want to be clear. Are we talking about college baseball here? Tony, are you talking about college baseball?
We're talking about basketball.
We're talking about basketball.
Yeah.
Or any sport.
Any sport, but in the basketball.
Well, college basketball has always, for whatever reason, and I've never been able to get a clear answer out of anybody, but this is not something new since, like, let's just say gambling's been legal in the state of Tennessee. This is going back 20 plus years in this market. We've been talking. We've had experts come on, shows and say the best home court or home field advantage in all of sports, pro or college, is college basketball. And I've been told that for 20, 25 years. The only thing I'm really kind of looking for is like a definitive reason of why. Why is college? I mean, I know it's all stat related, like the stats tell us.
Stats prove it.
Home winning percentage is better in college basketball than any other sport.
Yeah, but the stat doesn't tell
but
you
the question
why
is,
it is.
right,
Yeah.
why? Like, why is that happening?
Why is that?
Yeah,
what
I don't
happens to a player's mentality?
I don't know.
And why is home court so much an advantage for those home teams? And Darren, it changes a little bit when they get on neutral courts. And that's what makes the NCAA tournament that much more special, is you get all these teams away from their home courts and put them in neutral courts, a lot of times big venue arenas, and it changes their whole shooting, the sights of the goals to them. Everything changes. So and that's really an interesting concept of what happens, or question to what happens. So, guys, I want to throw this at you. Will Wade was fired for buying players at LSU. He's now got McNeese State in the tournament, and a lot of people are picking them for an upset in the first round.
They are the sexy pick.
Would Vanderbilt drop his baggage? What happened with him? And call a homeboy home?
In fairness, his baggage, it's like I've brought up Kelvin Sampson. Like, their baggage doesn't exist in today's game. Like, Kelvin Sampson,
correct.
You can text as much as you want. So he would not be in trouble. Will Wade
You
paid
can
players,
pay these players as
allegedly.
much as you want. No.
But you can pay
You know
players.
Who he used to sit, Darren, you and Justin, y'all know who he used to sit beside at the Vandy games?
Well, I know he went to FRA. No, I don't know.
He did.
For Vandy Clay?
Well, he sat with Vandy Lance.
Vandy Lance, I meant. Vandy Lance, Vandy Clay.
And he sat down there with them. So you can imagine, get Will Wade back in that gym and him get Vandy Lance back in that gym. Well, I think we'd have a big advantage. I think
The problem that I have, Tony, is there's certain guys. It's not really about the payments anymore. It's not about getting in trouble with the rules. It's really about, it's like Andy Kennedy. It's Will Wade. It's Kelvin Sampson. These guys, the problem is Vandy is just not another job.
Yep.
And I don't think Will Wade can get the type of players that he's looking for into Vanderbilt. I don't think.
You and I talked not too long ago, and you said that Drew, and you know Drew way better than I do, would come crawling back. Why does Vanderbilt not talk to this guy? God, it just kills me, Darren. It kills me. Just go talk to the guy. It just kills me. One last thing,
real
guys,
quick,
I'm gonna
Tony.
get out of here.
Real quick.
When Tennessee plays, can we get Damon to wear a mood ring to see what kind of mood he's going to be?
Oh, we're going to find out tomorrow's show. We're going to find out what kind of mood he's in.
We need to get Damon wearing some mood jewelry.
Yeah, we're going to put a tail on him and then bring in a bunch of rocking chairs and see how nervous he gets tomorrow. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
We'll take our final break. Nate, we'll get to you to end hour number 1 here on WNSR.
And now, Comstock & Sons Construction is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Please visit DAV.org and consider donating to the disabled U.S. veterans who need our help. This message is brought to you by Comstock & Sons Construction. For all your residential remodeling needs, give the pros a call today and ask about their military and senior discounts. 931-703-5623. 931-703-5623. That's Comstock & Sons Construction. They're professionals who care.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. And visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
Buyandtow.com. Get cash for junk cars. You have a vehicle that's become a problem? You can get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. They'll buy your vehicle no matter the condition, in your driveway, at your mechanic shop, or even on the side of the road. You can call them at 615-480-6473 or visit buyandtow.com. Get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. 615-480-6473. Buyandtow.com. That's buyandtow.com.
It's a Bill King Show.
Like I've mentioned, I thought Nick had a good 5 years still left in it. This one comes as a complete shock to me. If I sat here and said, I had a feeling, guys, Nick was trending, I'd be lying. That'd be the host trying to act like he knew something he didn't know. Why would I present that to you? I am shocked. I was taken aback by it.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Back to the phones we go. Let's go down to Columbia. Nate, what's up, man? Ooh,
what's up, guys?
That was a quick. Boy, David was touching all the knobs. All right, sorry. We're limited on time. I wanted to get you in.
Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick that Justin, just be careful saying that the Preds are good. Let's wait till see what happens tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
With the Panthers.
Florida.
Because the Panthers are probably a pretty good litmus test to see how good or how, I don't want to say bad because I don't think they're bad. See where they are right now. So.
Okay. Hold on. And I understand you, Nate. And listen, you and Darren consume way more Predator hockey than I have. I'm just saying I will push back a little bit on this. So I got to wait to see what they do against Florida. But what they did last week against Winnipeg doesn't count? That doesn't count for nothing? I got to wait to see what they did against Florida. I got to wait for that.
I mean, Florida's higher in the standings than Winnipeg, so...
Okay. They're more like they're going to play Winnipeg, or they would run into Winnipeg in the Stanley Cup Finals in the West. They're not going to run into Florida in the West. Florida's in the East. So I would rather measure them against a team they're going to be more likely to see first, like Colorado and Winnipeg, than I would against Florida. But I hear what you're saying, though. I do. I understand.
Yeah, but if they beat Florida, they probably have a good chance to beat Winnipeg. So
they already beat Winnipeg like last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did I miss that? They beat, what was 4-2?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Nate. To me, it's a regular season game, so it doesn't matter.
I understand.
Again, I won't look into it too much. I'm just saying it's a win, and they could they want to break their franchise record.
I mean, either way.
I'm saying if they win, they break their franchise record.
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But again, they're going to be ultimately judged by the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you don't judge them by the playoffs, that's your prerogative. Just don't tell me to judge them on just the regular season, because I'm not going to do it. All right, we'll come back. Steve Lehman to begin hour number 2 of the McFarland Show here on WNSR.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Israeli forces engaged in a standoff with Hamas at the Al-Shifa hospital complex in Gaza City. The IDF says it's killed some 90 gunmen, but others are barricaded inside. There are also some 2,500 civilians seeking refuge at the complex. Israel's prime minister, meantime, says he'll push ahead with operations in the southern city of Rafah, despite U.S. opposition. State Department Principal Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel.
We do not support the forced displacement of Palestinians in Gaza to outside of Gaza. That's not something that we would support or condone.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in the region for meetings, including ceasefire talks. The U.S. also working to evacuate Americans from Haiti due to widespread gang violence in the capital. The U.S. using helicopters to airlift U.S. citizens to neighboring Dominican Republic. And it's the first full day of spring, but much of the Midwest and parts of the Northeast dealing with lake-effect snow. This is ABC News.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
A friend of mine just bought a new house for the first time. A new house. I mean, my wife and I'd love to own a house. So I asked him how he did it. And he smiled and he said he went to the knowledge tree. He had this happy look on his face. So I told him to tell me more. And he said, John, the lack of knowledge will keep you poor. Then he handed me a brochure. It was from Knowledge Tree Mortgage. Now I understood. And after one phone call, I understood even more. Knowledge Tree Mortgage specializes in first-time home buyers. Folks like me who get the runaround from banks, and he got us pre-qualified. Knowledge Tree Mortgage got us our mortgage. And tomorrow, my wife and I are going to become first-time home buyers. Here's the number, 859-9599. 859-9599. Money doesn't grow on trees. Knowledge does. Knowledge Tree Mortgage, 859-9599. 859-9599.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Hour number 2 of the McFarland Show. Here on WNSR, Darren and Justin live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. DJ Damon is alongside for the ride. One more hour to go. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Don't forget, every day you can watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Our YouTube page, if you type in the search WNSR Live, one word, you can also chat with us like a lot of you do, and we appreciate that. Speaking of, on our text line, and we know Kevin in Florida, hopefully he's still listening. We need to find out if he's going to go to the game tomorrow night with the Preds and the Panthers.
He's more in Central Florida.
I don't remember what part of Florida he's in.
I thought he
told us.
It's more Central Florida, like Orlando-esque.
The middle Florida?
Yeah.
Not down
not
down
further south, yeah. Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. I've been to that arena. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere.
I've only been
to Everglades.
I've only been to the Fort Lauderdale airport. I can tell you this. They're very proud of it there at the Fort Lauderdale airport. They keep making announcements about it. Did you know?
Well, the Fort Lauderdale airport is much nicer than the Miami airport.
I'm just saying, they keep making announcements. Did you know that the Florida Panthers,
little known fact,
we're also here in Broward County, right down the road?
It's true.
They keep saying
in the middle of nowhere. It's just them and the alligators.
They make the announcement like every 6 or 7 minutes. They make sure you know.
Let's bring in Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. Steve, how we doing?
I'm good, and I was aware of that, by the way.
Have you been to that arena?
I have not, actually. That's one of the few arenas in the state of Florida I have not ventured into.
Have you been to Hard Rock Stadium?
I've been there more times than I can even count.
Yeah, I figured that. Have you been to, what is it, American Airlines? Where do the Heat play?
I think it is still American Airlines Arena, not Center, Arena.
Yes.
Center is in Dallas.
And in Knoxville.
Correct.
And
Food City Center.
That's the Food City Center, yes. Not to be confused.
I've been to the Marlins' new home. So I've been to three of the. I've never been to the Heat play. That's the only arena I haven't been to in Miami. But the new Marlins stadium is in not a good area, but the stadium is fantastic. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is beautiful, and it's inside in Florida, which
is a good idea.
In the middle of the summer makes a lot of sense. This time of year, not so much.
Yeah. How would you assess? We've had some coaches on this week. Since you're the voice of the Bruins, tough. Didn't get ultimately where they wanted to be. How would you assess this season?
Oh, I mean, that's a good question that we could probably break down over hours here. I'll try and give you the short recap. I think they did a remarkable job given the total difference of the team from a year ago to this year, and then being dealt with the injury to Jacoby Gillespie in the middle of the conference season. Those factors took any chance you had at really being an at-large team out of the picture. It also took your chance at running to be a regular season champion out of the picture. But when they got whole in February, they played their best basketball, and they won 8 of their final 10 games. They were arguably the best team in the Valley over the last month of the season. Unfortunately, one of those 2 losses came in the Valley tournament, and everybody would love to have that back because we all know that's how you're judged at that level. And so that was disappointing. The end was disappointing. Anytime you're not going to play in the postseason and you put on a Belmont uniform, that is a disappointment because they've been there so many times. But at the end of the year, considering everything that they went through, the idea that they won 19 and 20 games again for that's 14 consecutive 20-win seasons. There's only 3 programs in the country who can say that, and there's only 2 other programs, Gonzaga and Kansas, that can say they've won 19 straight for 20-plus years, which is what Belmont has done at this point. That level of consistency, still just 2 years into a new league, I think is something that has to be celebrated. But at the same time, this was a team that had a bunch of talent, and you would certainly hope you'd be able to capitalize that and maybe get to the postseason off of it. So losing in the Valley tournament in the manner in which they did was certainly disappointing.
So now Casey Alexander has to deal with basically what every coach in the country has to deal with when their season is over. It's called portal. Looks like he's lost a couple key defections, unfortunately.
Yep, money speaks, and that is certainly the case in college basketball right now, and no fault on these players or anybody. Go do you and go better yourself for sure, but that is the thing, and boy, does it change your outlook on things, Darren.
No doubt.
Because here's the other thing about that team, which probably should go back to your first question of the evaluation, is 5 or 6 years ago, your evaluation of this season would be like, it's a great building block. They got through some adversity. They won games. They proved that they can win. And next year you're going to come back believing you're going to win the league and get to the NCAA tournament. And you've got a bunch of sophomores here where 2 years from now you're talking about maybe second weekend of the NCAA tournament. That would have been the outlook if you were 5 or 6 years ago sitting in Belmont's position. Instead, the moment you lose that game in St. Louis, you're thinking good but not great season. We got to get back to work, and part of the work is playing defense to try to keep some of these guys, and chances are we're not going to be able to, and you don't know what that roster is going to look like next season, and that is the unfortunate reality of where we sit right now in college basketball is you're basically getting robbed of the potential of a really elite mid-major over the next couple of years, where it's not to say they can't be good, it's not to say they can't build it back up, but it's going to be a very different looking roster all over again next year. And guess what? If they have success next year with those guys, they'll probably end up losing some of those guys too.
I know.
So it's just the way it goes right now, and it's the unfortunate reality.
With this portal wide open, mid-major schools, I do not envy those coaches. It's brutal because once everybody's figured out that you've got talent, they're going to poach. The big boys are going to poach, and they're going to make it basically almost impossible for you to keep your talent. And coaches don't get to grow. And we were talking about this at the beginning, not to get on a basketball rant because we're going to segue into the Titans, but I brought up Virginia's pathetic loss last night and how bad they looked, and really Tony Bennett hasn't had much success at all, other than, I know this is a big, oh really, that's it? Well, other than the Natty, he's had a lot of failure since 2018. But Tony Bennett is a builder of programs, and he's a guy that keeps, he's always done it with experienced teams. Well, guess what coaches don't get to have anymore? Experienced teams and keep their nucleus together, because if their players are good, more likely than a bigger school is going to poach them away.
Yep, there's no question about it. And I know a ton of high major coaches, Darren, who frankly said, why would I mess around recruiting a high school kid for 2 or 3 years and building that relationship when I can just go into the portal and get a guy who's going to be a junior or maybe even a senior who comes in right away with college experience, who I plug into my lineup and I know exactly what I'm getting. And again, there's going to be a lot of people out there who think that sounds terrible and it doesn't sound like college basketball. But really, when you think about it, it's smart. And so maybe what you're going to end up seeing is a few more high-level players get recruited out of high school by these mid-majors because they're not getting as many looks from the high majors. But then if that guy has success, then he's going to move on. I also do think at some point there will be some level of regulation to this that hopefully brings it back into the bottle just a little bit. But, yeah, it's definitely the wild, wild west out there. And real quick, before you move on, you bring up Virginia. This is like the ultimate bar question, right? If I would tell you as a Virginia fan that you could win the national championship in 2019, but over like the 10 years around it, you would never win anything else, and most of them would be embarrassingly awful. Would you take that as a fan?
Yeah. I know. That is a great way of putting it, because the reason you're bringing it up is because if you laid that out to a fan base that hadn't won and said sign or don't sign, I would say 90-something% sign, right? They're like, yeah, Natty, and we'll deal with the what comes with it. It's easier said than done, right? Until you actually have to go through it.
Well, I think of it as a Cubs fan, Darren, and if you would have given me that pitch in, say, like 2013, and you're like, all right, 2016 is your year, you win the World Series, you get that feeling for the first time in your life, but, it may never happen again, or 15 years around it, you'll be basically nothing. I would have signed up in a heartbeat.
I'm a Cub fan. I'll take it.
Look,
I'm a Cub fan as well, Steve.
I'm an Indians fan. Well, Guardians fan, whatever you want to call them. I'm signing right now. I have the pen in my hand. I'm signing today, right now.
Give me the chip. Give me the banner. Give me the parade. I want it all.
Yeah. Now, if you're a Patriots fan, you're not taking that deal. It depends who you are. If you're Kentucky basketball or North Carolina basketball, you're not taking that deal. But if you're a tortured fan base, I would have said Virginia basketball would have been in that place. I think they would. I think they would have signed up for it, and they're living it right now.
Well, we could do this game with the teams here, right? And ask the Predators fan base and the Titans fan base. Would you or would you not? And I think 90% of them would say, yeah, sign me up. Super Bowl, Stanley Cup, and I'll deal with the next 10 to 15 years of misery.
I think most of them think they've already put in the 25 years.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I think they've already prepaid on that plan, haven't they? We're already.
Well done. I got one more, and I'm gonna flip it to Justin.
They're about to shut down a stadium that's had 5 playoff games. I think
that's fair. That's why I'm a little thrown off here. Okay, the latest signing, a D tackle, Sebastian Joseph Day, clearly Rand Carthon and him have history going back to Rams and 49ers, but he was drafted by the Rams in the 6th round, played for the Chargers and the 49ers last year. What did you think of that signing? Was it just a depth piece? What do you think his role is going to be?
I think he's going to have a significant role on it. I don't think it's strictly depth. I think he's going to be a key factor of what they do on the defensive line. I'm not sure if he's an apples-to-apples comparison for losing Danico Autry at this point, and I still think if you're looking at one loss for the Titans at this point, while the big public blow is losing Derrick Henry because of how beloved he was, to me the biggest loss that the Titans have faced to this point is losing Danico Autry because he worked so well with Jeffrey Simmons. Jeff loved him so much that I think that's something they're going to have to build up around him. I'm not sure if Sebastian Joseph does that all by himself, but he's certainly a piece of what they're going to build up on the defensive line and try to retool that front seven to have a defense that can compete.
Did the Titans overpay for Calvin Ridley?
I think they did, personally. This is what it screams to me, Justin, and I know that Rand Carthon and the regime that is there now didn't trade A.J. Brown. That was a sin committed before they got there.
That is correct.
But it screams to me that you had the guy, the franchise got rid of the guy, they understand how big of a mistake that was, probably even ownership is whispering, like, we need another guy like that, and you go out to try to get as close as possible to getting a guy like that, even though that's going to be hard to do, and you maybe make a little bit of a reach there. Now, I personally like having him on the team. I think Ridley's a good player. I think he fits well with DeAndre Hopkins next year. I think it moves everybody else on the roster down a peg. So if you're wondering what you're going to get from Treylon Burks, I think that's okay if he's your number 3 or 4 wide receiver coming into the year. Mm-hmm. And now he can be that. So I like actually having Calvin Ridley, and you had to pay him a lot to get it. But I do worry a little bit. You're talking about a guy, and I know he hasn't played a couple of seasons. He doesn't have as much tread worn off those tires as some guys in his age. But he's going to turn 30 next season. And he has had some issues, whether it be his own doing because of the suspension and some mental health issues and things like that. But he hasn't always been available. He's about to turn 30 years of age. So I don't love the contract, but I do love the potential of the player and what he can mean to the Titans offense.
Do you buy or sell the Treylon Burks trade rumors that are out there, that the Titans are possibly trying to package him, trying to recoup this 3rd-round pick that Rand Carthon has talked about over and over again, that he wants to try and get back somehow?
Well, I'll buy the fact that they might be having conversations about it, or at least letting people know that they would be open to it. I think that makes sense after these moves. I just don't know what you're going to get. If I'm a GM elsewhere, I'm not looking at the body of work that I've seen from Treylon Burks in Tennessee and giving up anything like a 3rd-round pick to bring him into my program. I just have not seen enough from the work ethic standpoint. I haven't seen enough from the production or the durability standpoint on the field, and I value picks way too much to give one up in the first 2 days of the draft to get somebody like that. But if I'm Rand Carthon, absolutely. I'm throwing feelers out there. I'm taking any phone call, even questioning about it, just to see what happens. Because if somebody's willing to give you a second-day pick, Justin, for Treylon Burks, given what I have now on the roster with Calvin Ridley, absolutely. Give me the draft pick. We'll build up either elsewhere on the team or find another wide receiver in there. But give me the draft capital any day of the week.
Does the selection of or the signing of Calvin Ridley all but guarantee that this team is going offensive tackle now? Any talk or do you think it's still a possibility they could take one of these outstanding wide receivers at 7?
I still think it's a tackle. I think that's the place that makes the most sense. Now, if Malik Neighbors is sitting there and let's say, I don't know who they love the most on their draft board in terms of a tackle, but let's say Joe Alt was number 1 for them and somehow he goes at 5. And then Malik Neighbors is sitting there and they have him with a significantly higher grade than the next guy that they have at the tackle position. I could see them maybe in that scenario either trying to trade down or taking Neighbors there and just loading up at wide receiver. I could see that because, remember, DeAndre Hopkins is going into the final year of that contract now. And so could you be thinking, all right, this guy is kind of an embarrassment of riches this year, but now he's going to be the guy along with Ridley next year when Hopkins' contract expires. Could they do that? I could see it, but yes, if you're asking me the most likely scenario after watching what they've done through 1 week of free agency, I think the most likely scenario is they're totally locked in on taking the best tackle that they can possibly get there at number 7.
Do you believe, as we wrap this up, Steve, that this is truly make it or break it year for Treylon Burks? Like, we're all going to know, because I'm just telling you, I'm already there. Like, this season, if I don't care what the circumstances are, if we don't see any growth, like real growth, I'm not talking about a little bit of growth, like real growth, we all can assume, in my opinion, we all can assume he is never going to live up to being a first-round wide receiver. What do you think?
I think that's a fair assessment, and I'm not sure it's all his faults at this point. I don't love the way he came in as a rookie, but the injury, the concussion at the end of the season as a rookie, that's not really his fault. That's just happenstance. And last year I thought he was much more professional coming in, and he looked like a guy that potentially could be a first-round pick. And then he struggled through injuries and obviously had the really tough concussion in the Pittsburgh game there. So some of the stuff I put on him, some of the stuff I think is just unfortunate breaks that he's had through 2 years. But you start getting into the third year, you've got to find a way to change that luck and to change the mojo out there and get yourself on the field and then produce. I'm not going to say that his career is over if he doesn't do something this year, because I do think there's a level of talent there that will be juicy for someone out there someday, somehow. But, yes, you're talking about a guy that you basically said, we traded away A.J. Brown, but it's okay because we got this guy now. And there's no sign at this point that he's anything close to being a level 1 receiver in the National Football League. And he's going to have to do something pretty drastic this season to change your mind about that.
Yep. Good stuff as always, Steve. Really appreciate it. Enjoy March Madness starting tomorrow. It's going to be a fun tournament, as always. Yeah. We'll talk next week.
Thank you, sir.
Can't wait to get to Charlotte, watch a bunch of basketball, and get back at it.
All right. It's cool. So you're going to be in Charlotte.
Yep. We'll be down there and going through the weekend, so can't wait.
All right. Check out Steve's coverage on News Channel 5. Appreciate it.
All right. See you guys.
Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. There you go, in Charlotte tomorrow night. Tennessee, yes, Tennessee will take on St. Peter's. That game will tip at 8:20 our time. 8:20 our time. You can watch it on TNT. Wide open the rest of the hour. We've had a lot of stuff on our plate today. We're getting a lot of feedback on our YouTube page, our text line, and phone calls. We'll continue that on the other side. 615-844-5600 as you listen to The McFarland Show on WNSR.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. Guess what? The Cats are back. The Nashville Cats will be returning to the Municipal Auditorium on April 27th in the season opener against the Minnesota Myth. There will be 5 total games played at Municipal Auditorium, with 1 additional game played up in Clarksville at F&M Bank Arena on Armed Forces Day on Saturday, May 18th. For player or dance team tryouts or tickets, log on to thenashvillecats.com.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain, and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, if you're looking for a place to catch all the hockey and hoops action this spring, look no further than the Alley Pub in Bellevue. And now here's Samantha to tell you about one of their great weekly specials.
Attention service industry. We want to say cheers to you at the Alley Pub, located at 7040 Highway 70 South in Bellevue. Every Wednesday night, bring a copy of your ABC card or pay stub to receive 20% off of your tab. Only at the Alley Pub, Bellevue's best sports bar and grill.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
We were here when Eddie George left. We were here when Chris Johnson left. They had to move on too. And Derrick Henry is doing the same. These guys cannot stay forever. That's just the deal.
It's just what it is.
It's just what
Derrick
it is.
Henry made it to 30, and most people are ready to put 30-year-old running backs out to pasture.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Speaking of the text line, Kevin in Florida said he is indeed in Central Florida. It would not go to that game down there wearing his spread stuff. He thinks that he does not think very highly of their fans.
Yes, he thinks he would be in danger by going down there like that.
He said there's a reason he didn't, but this is me trying to be funny.
Yes.
There's a reason that they used to throw rats on the ice. They're a bunch of dirty rats.
Jeez.
Down there.
Okay.
In Sunshine, Florida.
In Sunshine, Florida.
Yeah. Bunch of dirty rats.
I thought Sunrise.
Sunrise, excuse me.
Yeah.
Did I say Sunshine?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Sunrise.
I only know that because I heard the announcement quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're in the Florida
Sunrise.
Fort Lauderdale Airport.
They're a bunch of dirty rats. Sunrise, Florida. So, Kevin, don't go down there in your bread stuff.
Okay.
Mike on our text line.
Hey, Mike.
Actually pointed out something. I forgot this. How could I? That it's not happened just once. I just wanted to give only Tony Bennett and the Virginia Cavaliers credit for losing to a 16 seed as a 1 seed. Mike on our text line says, hey, wait a minute. Don't forget, Purdue lost last year as the 1 seed. I forgot about them losing as the 1 seed last year in the East.
So did I. So did I.
Totally forgot about them losing
to Fairleigh Dickinson.
To Fairleigh Dickinson.
Dickinson.
Yeah. And then Fairleigh Dickinson lost in the second round to Florida Atlantic, which we know Florida Atlantic ended up getting to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But yeah. So my bad. Mike, thank you.
Man.
So 2 teams in the last
and Purdue's in
5 years.
Purdue's in trouble already again on the injury front here. They've got a injury to their big center there. Even though they expect him, they expect him to play, but he had a shoulder injury.
You talking about Zach Edey?
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to play.
Well, I'm sure he'll play.
Although,
is he going to be healthy?
Did you see Bill Self, Kansas?
No.
He ruled out one of his star players yesterday, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you kind of act McCullers." He was like McCullers Jr., and he's like, "Oh, you kind of acted like he was going to be fine. Did you do that so you could get a higher seed in the tournament to the committee?"
Oh,
a lot of people questioning that. So, just saying, maybe it was a little gamesmanship from Bill Self.
They wouldn't do that in college basketball.
No.
What are you talking about?
No.
They would be upfront and honest at all times.
Have you heard this college football story?
Which
about
one?
Caden Proctor.
Caden Proctor.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the player that's been around the world? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just Iowa, Alabama, Iowa, Alabama, Iowa, Alabama, Iowa, Alabama, Iowa, Alabama, Alabama.
Trying to get the most out of it.
Iowa, Alabama, Iowa, Alabama. In June of 2022, Caden Proctor committed to Iowa, and he became the highest-ranked recruit to ever commit to the Hawkeyes. That was in June of 22. In December of 22, he flips to Alabama 2 days before signing day. He flips to Alabama 2 days before signing day.
Okay.
Then, in the fall of 2023, he starts every game for Alabama as a freshman, a true freshman. Starts every game, earns freshman, All-American, and All-SEC honors.
Good player.
Good player. But in January, he enters the transfer portal. January 17th, to be exact. 3 days later, guess where he announces he's going?
Auburn?
No. No,
not to Auburn.
That would be Iowa.
That would be Iowa. Okay.
Yeah, he's going back to Iowa.
Iowa.
Going back to Iowa.
Okay.
Then today, one Caden Proctor.
Yeah.
That was in January.
Yes.
Today's March. What, March 20th? What
March
is it?
20th, year of our Lord. Yes.
He is coming back to Alabama.
To play football. Well, did the check not clear there in Iowa? Apparently not.
It doesn't say.
Apparently he was.
Does it say?
Apparently he was promised something, and whatever he was promised didn't show up, and now they've promised him double back down in Alabama.
Does it have something to do with Caitlin Clark or something too?
What does Caitlin Clark have to do with
Well,
this?
she plays at Iowa.
She does.
And they was supposedly been friends. I was reading about
She took
it.
some of his money, maybe?
I don't know. Something is in the story because I heard that on one of the sports shows.
Well, that's great. That's good info. Thanks. Good added perspective. I heard something about something.
You know, I didn't want to
show. Thanks.
I didn't want to give a fault, but he did accept
Folks, you
some
cannot
money.
get this info anywhere else.
Okay.
I heard something about something
I didn't
on
want to
another
be,
show.
On
I didn't
one
want
of the sports shows.
But I'm not really sure what it was about. But it's something about something.
just Caitlin Clark's
Just
name.
Caitlin
was
Clark's name was mentioned in this something about something on this other sports show.
Because, she's not in the news ever about
No.
anything.
Who is Caitlin Clark?
I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Yes, added perspective. Can't get that anywhere else but the McFarland show. So Caden Proctor in June of 2022 says, Iowa, I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. Highest ranked recruit ever.
To the Hawkeyes.
In December, he's like,
Never mind.
I'm done with high school. You know what? I'm going to go to Alabama. My
Roll, Tide, roll.
My bad. Old Tide roll. After, in the fall of 2023, has an unbelievable season with Alabama. Season's over. You know what? I'm going to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Then thinks about it, sleeps on it, gets up. You know what? I'm going back to Iowa after all.
Maybe he had a falling out with Nick Saban. Now that Nick Saban's gone,
Then
maybe he's going back,
He did whatever he did from January to March and said, you know what? I'm going back to Alabama.
It could be anything. It could be literally anything.
So stay tuned. In April, Caden Proctor's going back to Iowa.
Maybe the class that he wanted is available now.
And then after July 4th fireworks, he's going to announce he's going back to Iowa.
It's possible.
Can you say NIL?
Once the corn grows in.
In August, he's going to get back from the beach trip. He's going back to Alabama.
Yeah. Heat's too much.
He's going to play this year.
Yeah.
And he's going to play really good at Alabama. And then he's going to announce after the season of 2024, he's going into the transfer portal. He's going to sleep on it. He's going to wake up and say, you know what? It is just time. It's time for me to be a Hawkeye. It's time for me to be a Hawkeye.
Maybe he likes the cold weather.
And
Maybe
then
he wanted
something
to be
is
up
going to
there.
happen about something, and something's going to do with Caitlin Clark about something.
Something.
And then he's going to wake up the next day and say, you know what? I've changed my mind. I'm going back to Alabama.
Maybe went there and saw that office they was running and said, I don't think so.
Maybe he likes the cold weather. Maybe he likes being in Iowa in January and February. And now that the spring is coming, he's decided it's time to.
Can you say NIL?
Time to hit south.
Well, it is.
I mean, I don't know.
Should he return the money that he made?
I mean, that's the part. That's the part we don't know.
Look, we've already talked about it a bunch. I don't think this game right now is for established coaches, established like future Hall of Famers.
We have a system, and
I think it's now left for the younger coaches.
Yeah.
To figure all this mess out, because I think the older coaches are like, this is exactly that. It's a mess. And by the way, we've got Damon, can you pull up that Tom Crean clip? We haven't even played the show. We didn't get to it yesterday.
We did not, no.
Like, if you haven't heard this, and this is, by the way, I'm surprised it's taken this long to trickle down to basketball, honestly.
Yeah.
Because this has been going on for so long in football now. And it's not really been going on that long, but you know what I mean. Like, it's growing by leaps and bounds.
Sure.
Like, it's the norm now.
It is.
But it's now happening in college basketball. And I get it. You can say, well, look at the tournament. Who cares? Okay. Look, I've been one on these airwaves in Nashville for 2 decades going, I don't care about the NIT. Sorry. It's not the same tournament anymore.
Yeah, you don't like the NIT.
I don't.
You made that known.
I know.
You do not care about the NIT.
But Tom Crean has been around the block a time or two.
Yes, he has.
In college basketball.
Highly experienced coach.
He went on a little mini soapbox rant on ESPN a couple days ago. This is what he had to say.
All right. We didn't practice this, so here we go. Okay.
This was not a rehearsal.
No.
Player. There's no question about it. I would want to coach. I would want to develop my team. You've got bigger staffs than you've ever had. There's plenty of time for the portal. There's plenty of time to talk to recruits. There's plenty of time to negotiate NIL deals. There's not plenty of time to play. There's not plenty of time to get your players on the floor and give them a chance to get better. There's not plenty of time for guys to continue to play that may never get to play again. And that, to me, is absolutely ridiculous. It's each coach's choice. I get it. But if you take away a chance to play the games, to put your team on the floor, let them opt out. All right, the bowl season has it all the time. Let it happen. Who cares? Give your players and coaches a chance to keep coaching and playing, and don't shortchange. If a guy doesn't want to play, go sit down. If a coach doesn't want to coach, go recruit. But there's got to be enough people to put 5, 6, 7 people on the floor and go play. Makes absolutely zero sense to me.
What an impassioned speech.
Okay, so what has happened is a bunch of these teams, and I mean a bunch, SEC teams.
Yes.
Rick Pitino's St. John's team, a bunch of them, have said, oh, NIT invitation, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, we're not coming.
We're not interested.
We're shutting it down. Season over.
Not interested.
Closing up shop.
So a bunch of teams are telling the NIT, yeah, we didn't get in the NCAA tournament, not interested.
Yeah.
Our season is over. Because also, and I get it, and this is, again, the common sense or lack of the NCAA to change things. A lot of this is all they're doing because they have no common sense. They never have. They don't understand how to do anything that makes sense. Why would you have the transfer portal open right now? Well, why? How about wait till the tournaments, plural, are over. Then you can open it up. Because the minute the season's over, they all hit. Remember, this happened to Vanderbilt last year.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt went to the NIT, and Miles Studi said, peace.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we know he played for South Carolina this year, but he did not. They had been playing their best. They played their best basketball under Jerry Stackhouse at the end of last season. And that could have been something to build off of in the NIT. And Miles Studi said, yeah, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because players in football are doing that, right? Like,
they are.
Bowl games that aren't in the playoffs?
All the time.
I'm out.
All the time.
Not playing.
Yeah.
Now the basketball players are doing the same thing. Like, not interested. In fact, I'm not even going to be here next year. So I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not playing. And so these teams are like, these coaches are like, well, like 4 of our starters said they're not interested. So we're out. And these teams are just bagging out. So you do wonder that what's the shelf life of the NIT? Like, it could be short-lived. It may be on its way out.
The shelf life of the NIT is you either change your format so that you invite less teams perhaps, or you invite hungrier programs who actually want to come participate. So if it's not the
How
bigger
do you know
programs,
who's hungry?
well, the smaller programs who are going to be hungry to play, who are not going to have a bunch of guys hitting the portal. And I know every sports has got guys hitting the portal. I understand that now. I'm just saying that guys who want floor time, guys who want television time, guys who want that opportunity. It's clear that the guys at these particular schools don't want that. They don't care. They've already got themselves on film. They've already got themselves lined up for the next position. That's why they're leaving. So get some guys out here who actually want to participate. If you don't want to participate, cool. If your school doesn't want to participate, cool. They should find a pool of people, a pool of teams who are ready to participate with them in what they're doing. And if they have to shrink the amount of teams that they're allowing in, then do it. If they have to go straight to New York, then do it that way. And say, you know what, guys? We've been doing this thing. We have to play the first 2 rounds at home, as a home game. Forget it. We're going to bring everybody straight to Madison Square Garden, and we're going to have a round of 8, and that's going to be the NIT instead of doing 32 teams. Man, there's ways to do this without it looking the way it does now. That's my only thing. But they're going to have to adapt too. It's not just the players who have to adapt. These organizations are going to have to adapt. It is not going to be the same anymore.
Yeah, I just don't. I think there's the list is, as we saw in football. It started with like Christian McCaffrey and a few others, and it just kept growing.
Oh, yeah.
It was like feeding gremlins past midnight. They just kept multiplying, and the same thing's going to happen in basketball. Like next year, it'll be twice as many teams as this year that said no. Yeah, it's not going to get less.
No.
All right, we'll take a break. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. More of the McFarland Show coming up next here on WNSR.
The Locksmith Company, our full-service locksmithing expert, is reminding listeners that every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs blood. Giving equals living, so please consider donating blood today. This message is brought to you by the Locksmith Company, a proud veteran employer. For all your residential, commercial, or automotive locksmithing needs, call today for a free estimate or 24/7 emergency service at 931-801-5427, 931-801-5427. And also visit the lsco.com. The Locksmith Company is looking forward to seeing you.
Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is at the heart of Music City. Located within walking distance of the Country Music Hall of Fame, Bar Lines at the Omni is your downtown honky-tonk destination. Watch your team from any seat on their plentiful HD TVs and catch a live show on the Bar Lines stage featuring live music 7 days a week. Bar Lines has the ultimate Southern comfort food. Get started with classic fried green tomatoes or bourbon barbecue wings. Then it's on to the massive Smashville double stack or the world famous Bar Lines grinder. Oh, you've never heard of the Bar Lines grinder? 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, Dijon, smoked turkey, smoked bacon, smoked ham. Now that's some smoke you want. Local brews and local spirits are on tap at Bar Lines. Take a seat on the patio outside and soak up the rhythm of Music City. Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-617-0239. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-617-0239. That's 800-617-0239. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. The package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
It's
JB and the General.
We're going to re-sign Derek. We're going to bring Ryan back for one more year. I can win with
the band is coming back.
What happened last year? In the 11th hour, they signed D-Hop. But I strongly believe that Vrabel at the last hour, slammed his fist on the table and said, I can win with this team. Let's not start the rebuild.
Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Maybe they could move the NIT to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Is Brooklyn in the house? Maybe that's the trick, huh?
They could do that. Maybe that would get people more pumped.
I don't think so.
Play Beastie Boys.
No. Well,
move the NIT to
Brooklyn. No, that's not. That's
and
not.
Then
gonna,
don't sleep.
No, that's not gonna.
Then play basketball.
That's not gonna help.
Don't sleep.
That's not gonna help. I don't think the people are gonna be excited about that as much. People could be excited as about the NFL football season and going to 18 games in the National Football League. Now, Darren brought this up a couple of days ago that the NFL is thinking about going to 18 games. Mike Florio, who's been following the NFL now for over 30 years, he has a show on YouTube and other places here. He wanted to express himself on this particular issue about the NFL going to 18 games, and Mike Florio doesn't think it's going to stop at 18.
And I think eventually, and I may not be alive for this, eventually they're going to go to 20, and they're just not going to have a preseason. Eventually they're just going to play 20 games. They're going to realize how much money can be made, and it's going to be up to the players to get through it. It's going to be up to the teams to figure out how to manage the reps and keep guys healthy. But we saw it this year with the quarterbacks. Guys get injured, next man up, train keeps moving, money keeps flowing, people keep watching. The whole idea for protecting quarterbacks is, if we don't have all the big-name quarterbacks, nobody's going to watch. Nope, they're still going to watch. Doesn't matter. This has been a long-term obsession for the league, spearheaded by Commissioner Roger Goodell. He started attacking the quality of preseason games 12, 13 years ago, before the 2011 lockout. I think they wanted to come out of that with an enhanced and expanded regular season. The problem was 2011 happened right at the front end of this new epiphany about player health and safety, and they were completely unable to reconcile and 2011 was the year that all the concussion lawsuits hit the fan. How do we play more games at a time when we're trying to convince everybody we care about player health and safety? We're going to have to table this. So they did until the next CBA. They tabled it. They pushed for it. They got it. And now there is a sense that it's just a matter of time, that it's inevitable. And the question is, Chris, do they wait until the current CBA expires, because that's when you can use the lockout leverage to get them to cry uncle, or you can reach any agreement anytime you want. Just because there's a CBA that's in place for another 7-8 years, they still can at any time tear it up. They did for COVID. They had a fresh CBA and they basically rewrote it to cover the COVID situation and the money that was lost from that. They could at any point, they could say, we're going to 18 and here's what the players get.
All right, so Mike Florio there speaking, and again, the beginning of his comments there, Darren, he thinks they're going to 20, and they're just going to go college football style and just eliminate the preseason at some point and just go that route. And may do it when the next CBA comes up here in a few years and just hammer it home, essentially, to maximize dollars. Because as it stands now, they've got fans paying full price anyway for preseason games. It's not like they're giving fans a discount for the preseason games. Fans are paying full price for preseason games. So the thought is at some point, they're just going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and go to a full 20-game season in the NFL. We were just at 16 the other day. If you're from another generation, you remember 14 games in the NFL. And now we're talking about 20 and trying to deal with the health and of the players and all of that at the same time. And they've even toyed with the idea. I've also heard other people say, what if they did a situation where if they did 18 games, you only force guys to you guarantee everybody not only 2 bye weeks, but everybody has to play 16 or 17 games instead of 18, which means everybody has to have 2 bye weeks plus a off week somewhere else. So no one has to play the full 18. Just anything they can do to squeeze this in.
My favorite part of that clip was they're gonna realize that they can make the money that they they didn't realize the money.
Well, no, they've realized. They've already realized that.
Oh, so 20 games will bring them more money? Really?
Yeah. No, they're a full understanding of that.
They understand that?
They do understand that.
Okay.
Not trying to, get everybody else to go along with it without forcing them to, essentially, is the trick with all of this.
Justin, they don't have to get them to go along with it. They already have. Players are in favor of it. Don't make any mistake about it. Because if they really cared about their own safety, guess what they wouldn't have had this year? 17 games. And guess what we wouldn't be going to? 18 games. You know why? Because they wouldn't collectively bargain it. But you know why they do? And this is why the owners always know. They always cave. Why do they cave?
Well, they cave because they need the money.
It's not only they don't need
not
the
the
money.
Owners, the players.
Yes.
The players need the money,
No,
not
they
the
don't
owners.
need the money. They want the money.
Okay?
Okay?
Who is they want the money?
Well, they all want the
money.
money.
They all want the money, but there's a difference between the owners and the players. The players can't afford to miss a paycheck. The owners, they can. Very much can.
There are players that can afford to miss it.
There are some
there's
players.
The haves and there's the have-nots.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, what does all this create for the players? More money.
Yeah, ultimately.
Your salaries increase. Bigger contracts.
Bigger salary
cap's going to go up higher, right?
Yeah.
It just went up $30 million. And that the owners know it.
Yeah.
So what do the players do?
Bigger TV contracts.
Oh, we're so mad at you. Okay, yeah, we'll sign it. And the owners know that.
Yeah. Yeah, two more
players have
regular season games, or three more regular season games in theory. That's a bigger contract that Fox, ESPN, or whomever, whatever you're doing with them, they're going to pay more for that.
And they're going to get more money. They all make more. And they know that. And because the players really cared about their own health, and they're like, no way, we will not. They would have never expanded. They would have never went to 17. But the owners know, yeah, well, here's what happens when we extend our season. This is what happens for you.
Yeah.
Okay, where's my pen?
How much?
What?
Go.
What's the league minimum again? Wow. Okay.
Go.
Salary cap's going to go up how much? Oh, wow. Okay.
Who we play? You say it's on Wednesday afternoon now.
Okay.
And then the next game is Friday night?
All right, I'm going to come back and give you my NCAA tournament tip of the day. Going to do that next here on WNSR.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Bob's Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple: incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cuts, from the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu, from salmon to scampi, and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
And now, the fine folks at FMR Construction Services are on the air, proudly saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military, both past and present. Thank you. This message is courtesy of FMR Construction Services, your certified pros. For commercial and residential roofing, general contracting, and painting needs, call FMR Construction Services today at 615-788-7662. 615-788-7662.
It's a Bill King Show.
We created a rule decades ago on the show. Weddings, things of that nature, during the playing portion, do not get consideration. No. Don't do that. Weddings are meant for the spring. They do not get consideration during the playing portion of the season. That's just the way we work it around here. That's the way we play it around here.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Honest opinions, genuine conversations. The McFarland Show.
Okay. Justin, this one's going to be a little bit nerdy, so I need you to hang with me.
This one's going to be nerdy?
It's going to be a little bit nerdy.
And the other ones were not.
The other ones were not? I didn't think they were really that nerdy.
Okay.
I thought they were just pretty good.
They were good. I'm not saying they weren't good. I'm just saying that, if this one's going to be nerdy,
This one's going to get a little bit choppy and nerdy. I'm
get
sorry.
a clean sheet of paper. All right, I got a clean sheet of paper for this one.
There are two qualifications that over 95% of teams in the last 21 years that have won the national championship, they all have in common. Okay?
Oh, 95%.
So, it's 95% because there's one outlier.
Okay.
There's one team it's the 2014 UConn team.
Okay.
That's the only reason it's not 100%.
Yeah, they bucked the trend. Everyone else.
They bucked the trend. Okay. And what they all have in common, this is going by Ken Palm metrics.
Okay.
Again, if you want to go, nerds, I get it. Okay. But basically, in the last 21 years, every team that was in this window of analytics went on to win. They won the national championship other than the one outlier, 2014 UConn. Okay. Here's what it is. Adjusted offensive efficiency and adjusted defensive efficiency.
You want analytics.
I know. I'm going I told you this is going to be nerdy.
Yeah.
Okay. So teams that are 37th or better in adjusted defensive deficiency, so top 37, and in offense, it's top 21. Okay.
And what's the term again? In
adjusted offensive efficiency, adjusted defensive efficiency.
Okay.
So defense is top 37, offense top 21 in all of Division I basketball. There's like almost 400 teams now.
Okay.
So that's it's a really good stat. Okay. In other words, saying there's a ton of teams in college basketball. People don't realize.
There is. Yeah, there are.
How many Division I teams? Okay, so here are the teams that qualify under that.
Okay,
that are in this year's tournament.
Go.
UConn.
Okay.
Purdue.
All right.
Duke. Arizona. Auburn.
Okay.
Creighton. Houston. Marquette.
So
these are teams that meet the criteria of top 21 in offense efficiency, top 37 defensive efficiency.
So according to your stats, one of those 8 teams is going to be your national champion.
Yes, sir.
According to statistics.
Yep.
According to the analytics.
By the way, Alabama in adjusted defense 112, Kentucky 108. about that?
Not well for the SEC in that list.
All right, enjoy your beautiful Wednesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day. You've been listening to the McFarland Show on WNSR.